right. Hi, welcome to You Didn't Get the Memo show. I'm your host, Gloria Bailey, and as always, we got a fantastic show, and it's always about providing you, the viewer, with relevant, factual, mainstream information to help you be informed and to make informed decisions. We got a great show today, and I'm really, really excited about my guests. But I want to just thank all of you that are tuned in, and I want to remind you that if you have questions, comments, you can place it in the comment section and we'll do our very best to get to you or respond to you. All right. So let me just tell you a little bit about my guest today. My guest is a legend in his own right, Mr. Richard Humphrey. Some of you may know him, some of you may have heard of him, some of you may not know anything at all, but this is your time to get informed because, listen, my guest has been featured on Dr. Oz, Real People, Von Mason video with Roll and Bounce, Damon Wayman movie, The Underground. He's been a stunt there. He's been on KQED. In other words, and he's even been featured in Ebony magazine. So I'm excited that he is on the show with me, Gloria Bailey Ray, and I want to welcome to the studio Mr. Richard Humphrey. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm excited to have you here on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate the invite.
Oh my goodness. Well, let me just kind of level set a little bit for some folks because we're going to be talking about roller skating, something that has been around for years, right? And what we know is that roller skating uses 80% of body muscles and it gives you a great cardio workout. And we're going to hear you talk about all of that because look, I saw you in action, okay? And it's a workout. Roller skating in itself is a great way to improve heart health, strengthen muscles, burn calories. And the thing is, it works muscles in the areas that I need it, Richard. The glutes, the legs, the core. And you're talking about burning roughly around 600 calories an hour. And here's the key. For people who are watching this, I want you to get this because guess what? Roller skating causes roughly 50% less stress to the joints than running, and it improves your flexibility and endurance. And I thought about that, Richard. I was like, yeah, I probably could use some flexibility, definitely. So I'm excited to have you here. And I'll just start with, first of all, asking you to tell the viewers about your backstory, where you grew up, how you got into roller skating.
Well, like a lot of young kids coming up, back in the early 50s, I don't have a problem telling my age. I was born in 1952. So I figured around about 1957, I was on roller skates, skating up and down the streets in the San Francisco in the Fillmore district. That's where I grew up. And, that's what we did. We just got together, had fun, skated until we couldn't skate no more. And of course, we skated back then on metal skates. We had the metal skates with the skate key. Some of you may remember that. So that's what we did. And surprisingly, I didn't think about not putting a piece of tape around those skates so they wouldn't come off. But that was how my background really got started. I mean, we just did it a lot. My whole family, my brothers and sisters, cousins, uncles, we all skated. And then fast forward from 1957 till about 1960s, a friend of mine took me to a roller rink. And I was like, wow, that was my first roller rink. I thought that was a great experience. And then I took a break. And then I got started in the early 70s. And I started all up again. And this was around 1974, 1975. And I've been hooked ever since.
Well, I love it. And we're going to talk a little bit. I want to, backtrack a little bit when you talk about the fact that when you got into roller skating and going to your first roller skating rink, the reality is I grew up in the South. And you know what? There wasn't a place that we could really go to roller skate. And I know even in San Francisco, I hear the stories of people when you could go to the roller skating rink and, it was it was almost as if people expected a riot to break out, right? They had police officers all over the place, because, and it was always billed as, I mean, because, for people of color, Black people, we like to dance, we getting into the groove. But it was, and you experienced that growing up in a Fillmore. So talk a little bit about what that was like, and were you guys only allowed to go to roller skating rink one day a week, or what?
Well, my rink experience in the '60s was actually they played a lot of organ music, believe it or not, back then, and then slowly but surely they started playing R&B music. So we didn't have a whole lot of choices as to what type of music that we skated to when we were at the rink. We were pretty much doing the hokey pokey and whatever they put on, that's what we skated to. So those were the experiences. And unfortunately, yes, what you said about going to the rinks and not feeling comfortable, it really is a humbling experience to be able to go into a rink and, let's say, being patted down or checked out like we're criminals walking in the door. We've been faced with that for so many years. And so now as we move fast forward, believe it or not, even to this day in the 2021, we still are dealing with a lot of the same situation. It's really unfortunate because roller skating is something that we just enjoy doing. As kids coming up, it was always fun. Even as an adult, it's always fun. But it's so humbling to be able to walk in the door and being searched and look at like we're criminals. Is kind of sad. So hopefully one day, those walls will come down where we can just skate, have fun, and just do what we do.
Yeah.
Skate.
Yeah, absolutely. And the interesting thing is, we know now with the Black Lives movement, Black Lives Matter movement, that there are some walls that are tumbling, but there's still so much work that needs to be done around, people who have this fear around the minute they see more than one or two people of color congregated, that there is an issue, there's going to be a problem, right? So that leads me into, though, the question to ask you. Let's talk about the need to preserve the culture of roller skating, because you talk about you love it, it's fun. We know that roller skating, I met someone when I came out to kind of do a quasi interview and catch you, get some pictures of you, that one of the stories is there were a number of people who were roller skating that actually lost a ton of weight, in the course of 6 months to a year roller skating. So first of all, let's talk about the need to preserve this culture of roller skating, because I don't know how old that young girl was, maybe 5, 5 years old. So you have a huge following and age range. But why would you say that we need to preserve, the culture of roller skating? And I'm speaking of as it relates to you, the roller dance master.
Well, with me, I've been doing it a very long time. I've learned a lot. And for those that don't know, I'm self-taught. Back in the day, we didn't have teachers. We didn't have anybody to emulate. We didn't have anybody to follow. Nowadays, we do have our parents, our brothers and sisters, and that are out there roller skating right now. And how do we preserve that is by showing them the ropes, get them started early and let them see how much fun roller skating is. The company that we have is fun, it's great, and it's a lifetime. It's a lifetime of friendships. So as we continue to move forward, like myself, by having the Roller Dance Academy, it's been really a blessing for me because it has brought so many ethnicities of people together. When I'm out there on Sundays, I don't see color lines. And that's real important to me. We're just out there to roller skate. We all have a same common interest. This is what we love to do. And this is one of the ways that we can preserve it no matter what. And this is the time now to keep it going, because what we don't have right now is a lot of rinks that we had back in the day. There used to be rinks everywhere, every neighborhood almost. And now we don't have that anymore. So right now we are forced pretty much to skate outdoors. We're skating outdoors on tennis courts, basketball courts, or anywhere that's smooth. That's where we're skating. And so with that being said, we're using that avenue to continue to keep it going, keep the culture going, and educating our young people right now how much fun this is and how we can keep it going by doing what we're doing right now, getting together, skating, and having fun.
Yeah. You know what? And you're absolutely right. I think I saw so many different ethnicities when I came out on a Sunday that were just out there just having fun. And there was a different kind of energy and the synergy together. People, you could just tell that people were just there, they were into it. And it was just, I mean, I walked away and I just felt, wow, you know what? I need to get out here. I need some of that energy. And the thing is, those Sunday get together, anybody's welcome, right?
That's correct.
Everybody can come. Okay. All right. So, when we talk about uh, not only preserving the culture, the interesting thing is, and I'm going to put this out to the universe, Richard, that, there will become more and more roller skating rinks. And in particular, I'm looking for, the Roller Dance Academy to have its own. And I envision it's going to be a 20, 30,000 square foot building, right?
Okay.
And so I think big. You have to look at that in that way. So let me ask you this, and you may say, well, it never left, because we kind of talked about this, but why or what do you attribute to roller skating making a comeback? Because it started out, if you look at the history back in the 18th century, and then it kind of fell off, and then, like you said, it kind of came back. But did it ever leave? What do you think the resurgence is at this particular time?
Well, first of all, I will tell the universe that it has never left. When we started skating in Golden Gate Park in 1979, that was like the most awesome experience in the whole world, to not just be in a rink, but to go outside and skate freely. And it was magical. I've never seen so many people come together. In 1979 in Golden Gate Park, we had thousands of people out there skating up and down the skate, John F. Kennedy Drive. It was magical, and it just became life. It's never left. And so from 1979 to 2020, we're still skating at Golden Gate Park and everywhere else now. And I've moved to the East Bay. I've been over here for the last 8 years, but it didn't stop it. The only thing the pandemic really did was it gave people an opportunity to do something probably that they did as kids that they hadn't done in a long time. And it gave them an opportunity to do something that was free, that you can do on your own time or get together with people, but it has never left, period. And so, yes, social media changed a lot of things. We had skaters that come on and it grabbed people's attention, but unfortunately, it really didn't take the pandemic to do that. We've been doing it so long. New York, Venice Beach, San Francisco, San Diego, we've been doing it nonstop. And like I said, there are just a few people who came on the internet, social media, who kind of like so-called made it popular again. Unfortunately, that really didn't happen. It has always been popular. And even in the indoor rinks, it's still popular. So it hasn't stopped at all. It's just that the media focused in a different way, with TikTok and Instagram and all these other medias right now, made it seem like This is a whole new ball game, and it hasn't at all. So I will be the first to tell you it hasn't stopped.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I love that because like you said, you just out there, you just doing it. And when people see you in action, the love that you have for what it is that you do is absolutely incredible. It's absolutely incredible. So, but what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about a number of things. I want you to talk about the portion of how you walk your classes through exercising on roller skates. And then I'd like for us to talk about your program, indoors and outdoors. So you guys don't go anywhere. I'm here with the legend, Mr. Richard Humphrey, the roller dance master, guys. So we'll be right back. All right, stay right there.
Testing. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. Show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice, so everyone knows exactly what to do. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family.
1 in 3 adults has pre-diabetes. That means it could be you, your favorite brother, your other brother,
Yes.
you, your football buddy, your football buddy, you, your plumber,
Breathe right into your foot.
your plumber's masseuse,
Yes.
you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. With early diagnosis, pre-diabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
All right, you guys, thank you for hanging in here with us. For those of you who are just joining, I am on with my guest, the legend, Mr. Richard Humphrey, the roller dance master. And we are really and truly talking about roller skating, something that many of you thought about. And how I came to be, I reached out and I said to my cousin, I want to learn how to roller skate, not even knowing that Richard, that what you were doing and it even existed. But I was like, I want to take some lessons and I need to find out. He's like, you got to meet Richard, man. This man is dope. He's the man. So I got intrigued, started doing some research, and then had an opportunity to come out and watch what you do with the crew that comes out every Sunday. So let's start with, let's talk about the benefits of exercising on roller skates, because you really walked them through. And when I first heard that, I was thinking, now, how are you guys going to work that out? So talk about the program and what you do, just kind of give us the rundown.
Well, basically what I do is, especially with newbies or new people to roller skating, first of all, you have to make them feel comfortable. And a lot of times when people are getting into a new sport or whatever, it can be very intriguing. And for a lot of people, it's very, very hard. And especially trying to learn what to do, how to do it, break it down into technique and all that. Well, I've been doing that, pretty much since the early 80s, because back then they didn't really have any programs, at least that I had ever seen, who actually taught people really how to do the breakdown of roller skating, not unless you were going into a rink or something like that. But for outdoors, it was a whole different ball game. So I've always been a very athletic guy. I've always been trying to, create my own pathways. And because I've never seen anything like that, I thought, well, you know what? I have a lot of creativity in this brain. Let me start putting it to work. And I basically started doing that. And the exercising and things like that on skates, man, I just started looking at a lot of what people do in the gym, because I was a gym rat too, but not on roller skates. So once I, started creating some techniques and exercises, then it kind of grew. And then I realized that this was my niche. I found something that works. And I have a lot of patience, because it takes a lot of patience to teach anybody. So just remember that. And I have the patience to break it down, to make a person feel comfortable, make them feel like they're wanted out there. And you just kind of comfort them a little bit, because that's what they need to do. It's just like a baby. You have to teach them how to walk, and you got to take one step at a time. And that's pretty much how I do my program. One step at a time until a person feels comfortable. And then you start moving them to the next step and the next step. And that's basically what I do on Sunday mornings. So even though I have a huge crowd of people, or group of people, I have a lot of the beginners come about 9 o'clock. So everybody's a beginner. So everybody feel like they're there together. And I help build their confidence up to the point where now they can skate with the better skaters and not feel intimidated. And that's really what my program is all about. The thing is, you have to keep doing it. You can't do it one Sunday and then come back 7 or 8 weeks later and try to remember it all over again, because it don't work like that. And those muscles and things that we talk about, you have to build those muscles. We actually have skate muscles that we use. A lot of people don't know that. So I put a lot of emphasis on breaking down all these different moves, what muscles work. And we do a big group exercise so that everybody's on the same page. And these exercises can be done in the privacy of your own home. You don't have to go outside. A lot of people don't realize that. They think, oh, I got to get my skate on today, so I got to go find somewhere to skate. If you have a small space in your living room, basement, wherever it may be, you can do it right in the privacy of your own home. But my thing is just building up people's confidence one step at a time.
Yeah. And as I said, I witnessed that. I saw that. I came home and said to my husband, I just like the way this gentleman teaches. And of course, though, I was like, well, do you do some one-on-one classes first before I get out there with the group? And you do private lessons as well, correct?
I do. I teach private lessons throughout the week, sporadically. And it's based pretty much on people's schedules. Mm-hmm. I'm retired now, so I have a lot of time on my hands. Mm-hmm. But I do squeeze in time to teach people one-on-one, because a lot of people are very some people are shy about some things. Some people don't want to be in front of other people looking all clumsy and all that kind of stuff. So one-on-one works very, very well. And I've been doing that for a very long time. And so anybody who's interested in one-on-one lessons, yes, I do teach.
Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. Well, you got a student here, so that's the thing. All right. So let me transition and ask you about this. I want you to talk about your group. So I'm kind of going back and forth, right? But let's talk about the group, the Golden Rollers. Tell us a little bit about that history. I'm very intrigued by it. So talk to us about that.
Well, it was magical. That's really all I could say. When I started going to Golden Gate Park, I pretty much was skating by myself. I learned moves at the rink and things like that, but I never really did it with a lot of people. And one particular Sunday, as I was skating and doing my thing, two gentlemen kind of skated up together. I can now say they were best friends growing up, so they skated together. And they saw a couple moves that I was doing. And then they hit a couple steps. And I was like, oh, man, that's pretty cool. So I said, let's see if we can put those together. And pretty much the rest is history. I mean, like, we went from 1979 to 1990. Every Sunday in Golden Gate Park from 12 to 5. And, we didn't have anybody to watch. We were just creating our own us. And that's pretty much what we did. And over time, we tried to find a name that was very fitting for our group. And the Golden Rollers was perfect. And so I'll be a Golden Roller for life. But, to skate with those two guys and the creativity that they had, when I say they had dance background, meaning that they just loved to dance. They were not professional dancers. But the cool thing is that each of them had their own specialness. And we put all those three things together, and it just became creativity like you wouldn't believe. And we started creating dance moves, choreography. Families would come out and just watch us every single Sunday. So, we always had to bring our A game because people are always looking for something new from us. So we just worked really, really hard. We didn't have all the social media stuff back then, but surprisingly, people knew about us. They heard about us. They found us. We started doing shows, got on a couple TV appearances, and it just kept going, even to this day.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, and if anybody, I've been putting up your Instagram account. If people go there, they're actually able to see all of the moves, I mean, you have so many videos up of you guys out there. So people, please, be sure and check out Richard's page. But you know what, Richard, you've also designed kind of your own signature roller skates. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yes. My vision actually happened probably around 1978. I was doing a Christmas show at Grand Arena in South San Francisco, and they wanted me to perform, and they had a white tuxedo for me. So I thought, what would be fitting with a white tuxedo? So I went out and found a pair of white patent leather boots, zip ups on the side. I thought those were the coolest boots in the whole world because nobody had any like it. So surprisingly, I had a vision that, hey, I said, maybe one day I could have my own skate boot. Well, 30 years later, it happened. So I hooked up with one of the biggest skate companies in the world, Rydell Roller Skates. And I talked about my vision of having a boot with no laces. And little did I know that Rydell had been in business for over 60 years and never had a roller skate with no laces. And I thought, wow, this would be pretty cool. So it all worked out. I had a friend who worked for skates.com who's no longer with us, but I'll never forget him. He helped pave the way. We had the conversation, and they said, you know what? We've never done a boot with no laces. Let's give it a try. And the magic happened in 2009. And I thought what would really be fitting for this boot was to give it a very catchy name. So I came up with the name, the Richard Humphrey, No Strings Attached.
I love that. I love that. And the fact that the largest skating company, in the country, in the world, picked it up. That says a lot. And that's why I like doing this show. It's because it's highlighting things that people may not have ever heard about or know about, and they learn something from being on the show. So when we talk about the newbies, what are the different types of skates, and what do you recommend that newbies start with? Because I know people ask you that. I know I ask you that.
Well, right now, a lot of people are on budgets. So if they see a roller skate that costs $59, they think that's pretty cool. So to get started, it's okay, but it's not going to last very long. People are buying tennis shoe skates. They're not going to last very long. And the reason why I say that, because ankle support is very important. So I really stress the importance of buying something that costs a little bit more one time than to keep buying inexpensive skates a whole bunch of times. So, and it makes sense because, as we get older, the last thing in the world that we want is to have an accident. And a lot of accidents that do happen because people have on the inadequate type of equipment, and especially having no ankle support. Because for example, somebody asked me a question, how do you fall on roller skates? Well, this is my answer. I don't teach people how to fall on roller skates because you're not going to fall the way I teach you. And that's just the way it really is. We have to live and learn. But back to the skate boots, I really recommend getting a good leather boot. Rydell makes a good leather boot. Sure Grip makes a good boot. They have a lot of companies out there that make great boots. Some may be more expensive, but just get something that's solid around the ankles that will give you the support that you need in the event that you do fall and roll, that you're not going to be breaking ankles, because there are a lot of them, a lot of people showing up in the hospitals just because of having the wrong type of equipment. So spend the money one good time for now, and you won't have to buy another boot anytime soon, because if you buy a really good boot, it can last you from 20 to 30 years and beyond. And a lot of people have the same skate boots that they've had since the 70s and 80s because they were very well made and it works.
Yeah, okay, absolutely. Well, Bridget, we're going to take another break. We always got to pay the bills. But when we come back, I also want us to delve into talking about any specific equipment that a person needs. So you guys, thank you so much for hanging in here. You are tuned in to You Didn't Get the Memo with my awesome guest, Mr. Richard Humphrey. We're going to be right back. You guys don't go anywhere.
Roll over. When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love.
Show some respect. Show you give a damn. Show the world how it's done. Show them that when your community needed you the most, you showed up. Mask up, America.
Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
All right, I want to thank you guys for hanging in here. I have with me today on the show the legend, Mr. Richard Humphrey. And Mr. Richard Humphrey has just, my head is like, as he's talking about, the history of, roller dance and being the golden rollers. And so you guys, if you didn't, I just want to tell you, you can always go back and watch the show and, be able to get all of it, because what we're talking about is something that will change your life as it relates to losing weight, building, stamina. Also, we talked about how it works with, flexibility, balance. And then what was the other thing? Improving your heart health, strengthening muscles, burning calories. All of these things happen, guys, if you're on roller skates. You learn how to roller skate, or some of you may have some skates, you need to dust them off, but you do need to just come out and check Mr. Richard Humphreys on Sundays. You're at, is it 9 to 1 or 9 to 12?
It's 9 to 1 at Weeks Park in Hayward, California.
Okay. And you show up. It's like nothing I've ever seen. I was out there and there was so many people. Look, I was sweating, and it was really a nice day. It wasn't like it was really hot, but there were so many people. So guys, come out and let's support. Before we went to break, one of the things that I'd ask you, you talked about the type of skates that, people really need to have. And as the saying goes, it's kind of pay me now, pay me later. You either spend a little more on the front end to have something that's a quality, as opposed to experiencing an incident. And buying cheap is not always the best way to go. But I ask you, is there any specific equipment that a person needs when they decide that they're going to start to roller skate? So what equipment do you tell your students to get?
Well, for a lot of beginners, it is important to get knee pads, elbow pads, wrist pads. Those things are important because I'd like to believe that, everybody's not going to fall, but you can fall. And if you do fall, at least you have on some protective gear. So right now, what a lot of skaters are asking is what type of equipment, especially outdoors. So what we use outdoors, we use a harder wheel on a smooth court. And for a rougher court, you need a softer wheel. So those are important. So the wheels that we use in the rink, we actually can use on a smooth tennis court because it's harder, smoother, and it rolls a lot easier. And what's also important, what a lot of people don't realize, is that the heart of the skate wheel is the bearing itself. So for example, if you buy a Chicago skate and the bearings inside of those wheels, they are very inexpensive and they don't roll very good. So when you're out there skating, you're skating harder than you need to. Good bearings are most important to have. So do a little research and read about the ABEC ratings, ABEC 5, 7, 9s, roller bones. And then the higher up they go, the more expensive they can be, but the better bearing makes a better roll. So just do a little bit of research on those specifically, especially the wheel. So if you're skating on a rough surface, you need a soft wheel. If you're skating on a really smooth surface like rink, tennis court, basketball court, we use a harder wheel to get a little bit of slide, and it works perfect.
Oh, okay. Awesome. Thank you for that. We've got some comments here. We've got people, I know this is an ATL, and also Phyllis, good to see you. Quite interesting. We also have, very interesting subject matter. And D-Bone says, Richard, you sound like a doctor. So thank you guys so much for your comments. We always appreciate that and the interaction with our viewers. But it is a very, very interesting subject. And I just found, as opposed to trying to get out there and jog and walk, I can cover more ground if I'm able to roller skate. Plus, I'm working muscles that, as we know, tend to kind of get a little flabby as you get older, right? And so that's, I think that's really important, but good information to share with people. So let me ask you this. When you hear the song Bounce, Rock, Skate.
Rock, roll, skate.
What does this bring up for you?
Man, it is all about the beat, the rhythm. That's what makes the flow happen. About a year and a half ago, I was privileged to meet the gentleman, Von Mason, who created that song back in the 70s. That has pretty much been like one of the national anthems or theme songs of the skating industry since way back when. So when we hear that song, it never gets old. And a friend of mine, Phil Myers, and myself, we were invited to actually perform with him live at the S&P Center here in Santa Clara a couple years ago. And let me tell you, that was like an experience that I will never forget. And for those that don't know, Von Mason has passed on, but he was the gentleman's gentleman. I mean, we had so much fun when we met. We jumped in my car and all went to McDonald's together. It was like we knew each other forever. And I'll never forget him. And he just recently did a performance with us in Washington, D.C. about a year ago. He lit the place up. So that song is magical all the time, anytime. And you just can't help but get that bounce, rock, roll, and skate.
Yeah. In fact, Deepon said that song was like a national anthem. So absolutely. Well, that leads me into my next question. When I introduced you, I said that you have been featured on the Dr. Oz show. Real people. Of course, you talk about Von Mason. You ran his video. You also was a stunt in a Damon Wayans movie. Tell us about that. I mean, what were you doing? What did you do?
Well, Damon Wayans had a sitcom called Damon Wayans' The Underground. And I remember very vividly the day that I got a call. My friend Lita Coleman called me and said, "Hey, we got a call from the Damon Wayans camp that they wanted me to come out and be a stunt double for him." And they flew me out to Hollywood, and it was pretty awesome to actually do stunt work for a celebrity. Got a chance to meet him, really nice guy. And it too was on TV. It was on one of the sitcoms, but it was just a great experience and a humbling experience. And I'll never forget it. It was great.
Yeah, I think that that's awesome. So many memories, and talk about really living your life and the love that you have for roller skating. I was intrigued, and I went back and looked up that you were actually featured in the 2006 Ebony magazine as well. What was that like for you?
Oh, man.
2006, Ebony, come on.
Hey, between Jet and Ebony, I don't know of anything any bigger. And so when they said they wanted to do a story, man, it was, wow. It was just very humbling. I mean, to, be a young African-American person who has a passion for something, and they said they want to run a story about, skating and what's that's like and the health benefits. And it was beautiful. What made it even more beautiful was the fact that my son blew that photo up in Ebony magazine and gave it to me for Christmas, and I don't think I've shed a tear like that in a while. So it was very humbling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, awesome, Richard. But you just strike me as you're just one of those individuals that you just have a genuine caring personality, and you're not assuming. You just meet people where they are. And I think that, to me, that's a unique quality, because so many times you meet people and everybody's got a handout and what you gonna do for me and all of that. And like I said, when I was emailing you, I said, just think you've done all these things, and there you are on the You Didn't Get the Memo show. So I'm just as honored to be able to have a legend on the show and somebody who has done so many things. And, gratitude. I'm very, very grateful and thankful for you being willing to spend some time with me and talk about it. So I want to go back to talking about, your Sunday free skating classes, because I want people to really get this. I see that there's some people that are just logging on or late logging on. And so tell us again where they can come, at what time, and what do they need to be able to show up. Besides, they must bring some water because it's hot out there. So tell the viewers about, your Sunday skating classes.
Well, first of all, we now have a place that we can call home. For those, though, that don't know, and some of you are experiencing this right now, we've been run off a lot of places. We've been run off the basketball courts and the tennis courts and other places, signs everywhere that says no roller skating. We were blessed to have someone in our presence who had a connection with Park and Rec that said, hey, maybe we need to look into this a little bit further. And doors opened up immediately and things started happening. So we were able to get a permit and have a time slot so that we can come and skate freely without being run off, because prior to that, that did happen to us. We were run off the court not knowing what were going to be our next place to skate. So the Hayward Park and Recs department opened up the door for us, gave us this opportunity. And so from 9 to 1 every Sunday at Weeks Park, all you have to do is show up, bring your skates, and I bring drinks, those that know, because I want people to hydrate. That's really important. You got to drink water. You got to drink something. You just can't come out there because things can happen that you don't want to happen. And I've learned that. So I would be the first to tell you that bring your water, bring your chairs, bring tents if you want to. Every Sunday from 9 to 1. And remember, 9 to 10 is pretty much for any beginner. And all you have to do is show up. I do the rest. I've been doing this so long that I can blend any level of skaters together as if you've been skating together for years. And my program has been working successfully, and it's moving like clockwork right now. And we invite everyone to come out, especially in the Bay Area, because there really are not a lot of outdoor permitted places to roller skate right now. We have a place that just opened up in Oakland, but you know, it's great that there is a place. There's one place, but there are other places that are designated just for roller skating, and the Roller Dance Academy at Weeks Park just happened to be the one that's happening right now.
Okay. Oh, thank you so much. Look, I got one more. You know, Richard has a Michael Jordan attitude. He competes in everything. This person knows you very well, and he does everything. He's a perfectionist. Thank you so much for sharing that. I appreciate that. So here's my question to you, Richard. What do you want people to take away from today's interview? What is it that people need to leave here with, besides me telling them that they need to get in touch and show up at Weeks Park with, with Richard Humphrey?
Well, first of all, they need to know, didn't you get the memo show? That was the first thing. And secondly, what we want to take away from this is that roller skating is a lifelong thing. And for us, it's not a fad, it's a lifestyle. It's something that we look forward to, just like going to work every day. We talk about it, we live it, and it's just something special about this craft that we do have. And we just want everybody to continue to embrace it, no matter where you are in the world. Continue to teach it, show it. Let everybody know that you have something very special, and don't let it just go away without a fight. You know, we're going to fight for it no matter what it takes, because we want to skate. And just remember, it's a lifestyle.
All right. So one comment that someone made, that they have bad knees. What do you say to someone who loves roller skate, but they have bad knees? Any suggestions?
Yes. I would be the testament of bad knees. I've had 4 operations on my knees. And for those that don't know, and if you watched all those videos in the last 5-6 years, I've had 2 complete knee replacements. So it just goes to show you that you don't have to give up just because you have a bad knee or a slight injury. I have 2 complete new knees, and it feels so good to be able to do what I do now, what I did years ago. It takes a minute, but you know, whatever you need to have done, get it taken care of now. Don't wait until you're too old. You know, do it now while you're still active. And it's a lot easier to have these surgeries now. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's an hour-and-a-half operation, you know, that's going to last you for another 25 or 30 years to help you do the things that you do now or do the things that you used to do. So don't just crawl into a corner and call it a day just because your knees ache. There's help out there, and there are a lot of different things that you can do to move you in that direction. So don't give up.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. Look, I want to thank my guest, Mr. Richard Humphrey, for being on the show today. And I have been putting up throughout his website, Instagram. Also, he is on Facebook, rollerdance.com. You can find him on Instagram as Richard Humphrey. And like I said, it is absolutely amazing watching all of the videos and you know, the walkthroughs that you're doing and exercising people. So, Richard, don't you go anywhere. But I want to say to my viewers, I want to thank you guys for being here and for being on the show. I'll be right back in just a blink of an eye.
Thank you for watching the You Didn't Get the Memo show with your inspirational host, Gloria Bailey Ray. It's your contributions that make this happen. To become a sponsor, send an email to youdidn'tgetthememo@gmail. That's the letter U, didn't get the memo. If you're not in a space to be a sponsor, but you like what you hear, we simply ask that you support what you like by making a contribution to the show. There are 3 ways to make an online donation. Visit paypal.me/Gloria Bailey Ray or Cash App or Venmo, Gloria Bailey Ray. Give what you can. Your support is appreciated.
All right. In addition to that, I want to just give a shout out to some of my new viewers. Shout out to all of y'all donors, sponsors. Hello to Percy and Merle, John, Sylvia, Maul, Lanita, Delana, Marilyn, and to my new sponsors. I really want to give a shout out to Miss Joycelyn Van Hoof, to Georgia Richardson and Angela Cleo Smith, the real estate forum experts, Booker T. Washington Community Service Center, the Lemonade Bar, Crispy, Richmond Neighborhoods Housing Services, the Chronicle of Blue, Global Investment Company, and all of you guys. As we continue to morph, we just put this up, but I want to thank all of you guys for all of your support. Also, be sure and support us. You saw the sponsorship packages. I encourage all of you guys to definitely, give what you can. Listen, I want to just say, if you didn't take anything away from today's show, then it's you who really didn't get the memo. But until this time next week, listen, I want to remind you guys that coming up on the 27th, that's next Tuesday, look, I'm going to have the real estate forum guest here. And if you are looking to buy a house, if you're looking to sell a house, if you're looking for information about how do I get started, this will be the place for you to do that. So be sure and set your clocks, your timers, whatever it is, your calendars, to tune in every Tuesday to You Didn't Get the Memo show at 5 p.m. Until this time next week, I want to bid you all to have a great week. Give thanks for all of your blessings. Stay kind. Be safe. Always pay it forward. And remember this, the quality of your life is determined by the decisions that you make.